All right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Jew. I'm here with Master Jew.
How's it going there, Mr. Jew?
Going okay. All right, this week we're going to look at movement number 4. 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah, Fantastic Four.
Okay.
From Yoo-Sin. So if you don't know how to do Yoo-Sin,
Go look it up.
yeah, I guess you have to look it up and you gotta find
Or watch the video, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Right. All right, so
depends on our demographics here.
that's true.
And it depends on if they do ITF or not ITF.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean,
How many of those guys are actually some other martial art?
that do Yoo-Sin.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Well, you have to use the sine wave too for this because we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. So if you don't do any sine wave, then I guess this wouldn't really apply.
Well, no, that's a good question because there are a lot of people that do the Chung Hung forms or the ITF forms, but they don't do the sine wave.
Right.
And so what do they do with this particular movement?
Yeah, I'm
or
not sure.
how do they explain that?
Well, maybe they do because the description is quite accurate of what you want to do. All right, and so movement number 4 is a hooking block in a sitting stance.
Right.
And I extend my legs, right? It says to extend the legs.
Okay.
5, I drop down, punch.
Right.
Right, into a sitting stance.
Well, that's your sine wave.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But it doesn't say side wave. It just says extend, not extend, right? Then the next movement, again, hooking block again, extend the legs, and then drop. So it's similar to like Juche, Kodong. It says that as well, right?
Right.
So the interesting part, we'll dive into some, maybe like some history or some thoughts. And we're going to be looking at where is the hand placement for the hooking block. Not the block itself, but where does the punching hand going to be? Is it going to be on the hip? Is it in this ready position? And we're going to look at these different motions. Now, in the 15-volume set, it does say that it is in a continuous motion, right? However, in later editions, that's taken out.
The condensed version of
Condensed version, it's been taken out, so it does not have any associated motion to it, right?
Right.
Now, it's interesting because that movement, that hooking block punch, is almost like a connecting motion. Is that right?
Well,
And the interesting part is the old versions, there was no connecting motion. All those motions were called continuous.
Correct.
And then connecting motion came about to describe it more, right?
Right.
So, my question for you is that like connecting motion? And if not, because it's kind of similar, right? We'll all agree on that.
Okay. Maybe.
Okay, if it's not a connecting motion, why would it not be a connecting motion? Let's start there.
Okay. Well, I think you got to look at the definition of connecting, and we talked about this so many times. What is it? It's
Just beat that definition down to death.
That's right. 2 techniques and 1 sine wave, 1 breath. 1 sine wave, 1 breath, 2 techniques. So we see this like when we do a scooping block and a punch. So we go shh, and you exhale. So when we talk about breath, it's really that exhale. And so,
Well, this is like the scooping block punch, but it's the opposite.
well,
So
it's kind of like
coming
Yulgok. So if you
right?
look at Yulgok, you go hooking block.
Right.
But when you look at Yulgok, it's a hooking block. It's on a walking stance. But when you do that hooking block, the heel comes up already. So it's not like a definitive technique. It's like connected. The heel is up. And then when you punch, you set that foot down and you exhale at that point. And so it's 1 exhale, but it's 2 techniques because you blocked and you punch. The scooping block, although you don't bring the heel up because usually it's in a sitting stance, a scooping block. And so you go down and you come up and then you don't go back down again until you punch. So it's like 2 techniques, 1 sine wave, 1 breath. And so regular techniques are 1 sine wave, or you go down, up, down, and then exhale, and you execute the technique. Right?
So this one, since it's not a connecting motion, could you say that it's because the legs are fully extended? Like when you look at other connecting motions, like the scooping block or the hooking block in Yogok, the leg is bent. Like you don't extend it, but in this case, it does extend. Is that a reason that it could not be connecting?
No, because, well, it would have to say number 4 and 5 is that you do a hooking block and punch in a connecting motion.
Right. So I'm asking, why would it not be connecting? Could it be because my legs are fully extended, so that
That's
kind
your
of
extent. That's your kind of well.
so there's no more sine
It's
wave
not
anymore.
really a sine wave.
right?
It's just you stand straight up. That's because you're in a sitting stance and you go into where your legs straighten out. Is that possible? Yeah, because we can do that. But typically, if your legs are already extended out, the sine wave is you raise the heel and then down, such as in Warang. So if it was already extended, your legs, then you'd use heel raising,
Yeah.
and then you set it down.
Right.
But because you're already in a sitting stance, you're standing up, that's your sine wave. It's just
Right.
an up, there's no down.
Right.
But it's not a connecting motion.
Right. But it kind of looks like one, right?
It could, I guess it could. I think it has to do with that stance.
Why do you say that?
Because in some ways, that locking out the leg is one movement, whereas in connecting, it's two techniques, meaning but one sine wave. And so when I do that stand up, when I stand straight up, it's like a movement.
Right.
And then the next one, I sit down into the sitting stance.
Okay, so now let's take a look at if it was
Why
connecting.
did you come up with these kind of questions?
I don't know. They take a long time to generate too. All right, let's pretend it's a connecting motion.
How would you do it?
How would you do that? Yes.
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay.
I have my own ideas here
I have
too.
an idea on how you
Okay.
could do that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say you're in a sitting stance. You stand up and you execute a hooking block with the legs locked out, and it's a movement. There you go. And then the next technique, you do two techniques. You do a hooking block and a punch. How do you do that? So then that number 2 and 3, assuming we're creating a new pattern. No, we're not creating a new pattern, but movement 2 and 3, in my scenario here, you would go up and you do the hooking block because you're in the middle of that sine wave.
Yeah.
And then you set that foot down and punch, and you only do one breath. So I go, so
Okay.
I go raise my heel up, I hook, and then I set my foot down and I punch. So it's one breath, two techniques in that scenario.
Okay. All right, in my scenario, this is all imaginary as well. You're in that sitting stance, similar to yours where the breath control is like, but so you're in the sitting stance, right? You have to first go down, right? So I do a slight sine wave down. Then I extend my legs up. I'm going hooking block, right? But my legs never extend fully if it was connecting, and then punch.
Well, there's your key.
Right.
I guess that could be right but then it's not extending the knee.
Right. So you have to cut out that part.
You'd
of
have
the
to cut
sentence.
that out. You have to say you're in a sitting stance,
Hooking
execute a hooking
block,
block,
and then
execute a punch in a connecting motion, and then I would definitely say that you do not lock out the legs because you're in a sitting stance.
Okay,
and so
yeah.
the sine wave is just kind of, you're in sine wave, your knees kind of bend, not more than 30 degrees, I think is
Right.
what it was.
Okay, so what is the difference between extending the legs versus not? So I'm like fully standing upright.
Well, we see that in a lot of color belts do that. So when they do
Yeah, but
patterns, they
they're
extend the
gone by
leg.
now. I mean, like, hopefully you're not doing that by that time, you.
Well, you never know.
But it has to be
Well,
a
I've seen
reason.
a lot of our color
right?
belts do that.
Yeah. But there has to be a reason of extending the legs. I mean, like
I
in
think
OG, I extend my legs up and I do an inward knife hand, but
It's a
that's to
movement.
get height, yeah.
But it's a movement. Is what it is.
Right.
I think that when we look at techniques and we're using, it's just the idea of sine wave. It's just kind of like this flowing type movement is what it is. But here you're standing straight up and it stops, and so it's an actual stop because your leg locked out and then went down.
Could
Whereas-
you say that it's faster? Because there's no even down movement. It's just up.
because you stood straight up?
Yeah.
But that's a movement.
Right. Could it? But if I do the hooking block without the
Oh, if
side
you want
wave,
to do a
it's-
continuous motion,
Well, no. Just the hooking block itself. If I'm in a sitting stance and I extend my legs up, that's faster than doing like a down, up, down by a little bit.
sure. because you're minimizing the movements.
Okay.
That's kind of what I think fast motions are. When you punch, you kind of eliminate this extra down movement. The hands don't relax. It just goes 1, 2. So it's faster. It has to be faster.
Okay. All right, so now let's look at the punching hand placement while we're performing the hooking block, right? So as I'm extending my legs up on the hooking block, the photo shows the hands on the hip, right?
Should
it be there or should it be up in the armpit? Because for speed, you might come up and then it's kind of coming already up and then you drop into that and the punch is coming out. So where should the hand be placed?
So why is the hand on your hip anyway?
Resting.
It's just a nice little resting position here. It could be anywhere. It could be in your armpit. And I kind of think that really when we do punches, or if you think about your intermediate hand positions, your hands are generally in the shoulder line area. Not forget about patterns, just mostly if I'm going to defend myself, my hands should be kind of up, not really down. I mean, that's okay for sport, but if I'm in self-defense, my hands are here, so I really need to learn how to fire techniques from my hip. I don't really want to go to my hip and then punch. I mean, I could, but really it's done so fast that the hands actually just kind of go back and forward.
Yeah.
And so in this technique here, you're doing a hooking block, and it's just a nice place. But in sawmill, where you do a low side block, and then you bring the other arm into the armpit, why not in the hip?
Yeah.
Right? But you know,
I mean, theoretically, yes, you can do that too, right?
So in your case, it could have been a hooking. In this case, it could have been a hooking block, and your hand is in the armpit, and then you execute the punch.
Could be.
It could have been,
but not that
But
way.
that's not what it shows in
Okay.
the encyclopedia. So could it be? Is there a reason why it's in the armpit versus the hip? Well, most of the techniques, when you do singular movement, it's at the hip. But
Except sawmill.
Sawmill, which is in the armpit. And I always kind of wondered about that, because that technique is not performed like in a fast motion or
continuous or whichever you
whatever.
want.
Well, yeah, it's two separate techniques. Why is it in the armpit in sawmill and not the hip? I kind of thought that, and you know, this is only my own thoughts on it.
Yeah.
That it could be a good reminder that really punches don't start from the hip. That's a nice resting point. And so as I move, I actually bring my hand off the hip, that relaxation, and I do the wind up and it comes back. And that it might be more like in the armpit, and then it fires straight out.
Yeah, but not like this, you know, where it's like really high.
Was that how you do that in some?
No. I say, you know, like some kids, you know, like you want it in the armpit. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like kind of like middle or up so that it travels in a straight line.
Right.
Which I think does make a lot of sense, that you do want to deliver that power straight in.
Straight in.
You don't want it to be kind of coming.
Right,
like in
because
this
if you
upward
shoot,
motion.
when you shoot your fist from the hip, there is this kind of an upward motion, because you got to go from the hip to the shoulder line. And so even though it could looks like it's straight at that last minute, it could be just a slight movement up. And you do see where people kind of skin their knuckles on like a board or something.
Right.
It's because of that rubbing kind of technique, and that might be because the fist was kind of, as it hit the target, it slipped up.
All right, so
Are you buying it?
I'm buying it.
You're buying it? Are they buying it?
So just to recap it here, hooking block, legs extended, hand
As a
on the
signal
hip,
technique?
right?
Correct.
And then you drop down, hand comes up, and drop into the stance. It is no connecting, no continuous. It is just two separate techniques. Right?
Oh, okay. So now you got me thinking here. So you stand up, you do this hooking block, your hands on the hip, and you want to do a punch. So regular techniques, if I'm standing up, regular techniques, you got to relax.
Yeah.
And so that hooking block, you'd have to relax. Your hands would kind of relax, and then you'd wind it up and then punch. Or does it go up and then down?
Well, I would assume that's why in the original 15 volume, it said continuous motion.
Right.
Right. Because I feel like the two techniques should be like linked together because you don't have you don't have that sine wave. You're just dropping your weight.
Right. Does that
so
make
it's kind of
sense
hard
though?
to say. Yeah. You would
Yeah.
have that relaxed position,
Normally, in a regular motion, you'd have a relaxed position.
but in this
and then
case, you don't.
You don't.
So it's a little confusing. Maybe he forgot to put on like fast motion, or I'm not sure.
Continuous motion.
Continuous motion, something like that. Yeah. But it would kind of violate the other things we talked about, legs being straight, and all of those. So
Right.
maybe you needed to make a new kind of motion for that, like hooking motion, to define that, how it's done.
Or you just group it into natural motion.
There you go.
Natural
That's
is
right.
natural.
You could go, natural motion. How would you perform it in real life?
What is
right?
it? How do you do that?
What is the application of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay, so some of these rules are really just general rules. It doesn't always apply in every situation.
Well, you know what he needed is a little section on these rules. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's nothing in there that says what is fast motion.
It doesn't say
There's
that.
nothing
No,
that
no,
has
no,
like
no,
a
no.
paragraph about fast. What is continuous
No, it
motion? What is
doesn't really say
connecting?
that,
And
no.
so that's why we can go back and forth forever about, what are these?
But that was the secret.
The secret sauce.
Well, it's the secret because, if you leave those kind of stuff out, then people have to go to the seminar.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's
But
true.
now General Che's not doing any seminars.
Yeah.
So now we're
You're
left
right.
with other people to explain this.
Right.
So hopefully no one asks on my upcoming seminar here.
No.
On the third down pattern.
Well, that's by the time this one comes out, that's tomorrow. So
Oh, okay.
good luck.
I'm just.
Hopefully they watch this
I
one
hope-
after your
Yeah, I'm
seminar.
gonna go. I hope. They
Yeah.
don't ask,
Yeah.
Or I might just bring it in anyway.
Right. All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. We have a couple things coming up as well. August 1st, we have the U.S. Open. It's a tournament being held in Las Vegas, Nevada.
We
Open to all. We
did
are
that?
hosting it,
Yeah.
with Grandmaster Basse. And in October, I don't remember the date, October 23rd or 25th, I think, we have the IIC. Grandmaster Nichols is coming out to Fairfield, New Jersey
With Grandmaster Wheatley.
with Grandmaster Wheatley. So those are our big events coming up for the year. As always, don't forget to be safe,
Keep training.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Take one.